here it is. This is The Mandalorian and Grogu full review. Now, I'm someone who, from the minute I saw a second of the footage from this film, when it got leaked on Reddit from D23 way back, like a couple years ago, of the AT-ATs shooting down at Din on Hoth and the oneer of Din in the hallway taking out all the snowtroopers. I've been excited for this movie since that tiny bit of footage we got. And I think we also saw Zeb too, and we saw a Delphi base. Like, I was like, this is the most Star Wars looking thing ever. I was like, this feels like George Star Wars. I know it's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. Put it on my calendar 2 years in advance, because I believe this was 2024. Yeah, it was D23 2024, I'm pretty sure. And I put it on my calendar 2 years in advance. And now I've seen it twice. I saw it once, May 21st, and then I saw it again today on Memorial Day. So, thank you to all who have served and died for this great nation. Anyways, I really like this film. I really dig it. I see the strong direction it has. Whereas a lot of the Disney Star Wars movies feel like they have like 8 different directors and 8 different visions to them. You know, there's only 2 that I'd say strongly have a sense of direction. I don't even know if I'd even count that one, but this one has such a strong sense of direction throughout the whole thing. And it feels just really well stitched together. There's no plot holes. There's no lore breaking anything. There's no, like, it just works the entire time from start to finish. And the vast majority of Disney Star Wars is riddled with issues. Just absolutely riddled with issues. There were 0 power scaling inconsistencies, lore inconsistencies. I mean, this was just like, in terms of staying true to the timeline, to the lore, whatever, perfect. 10 out of 10 in that category. I mean, like, genuinely, the power scaling between Mando and Embo was like perfect. Like, I was, oh god, they're gonna do the Cad Bane thing where Boba just kills Cad Bane in 2 seconds, and like, I was like, oh god. You know, but they didn't. You know, I wouldn't say I thought they were gonna do that. I was thinking they might. I could see this happening, you know. But no, he was power scaled perfectly. It was a tough fight for Mando. Mando didn't kill him. But Mando's also not weak sauce. I love that guy. He's the coolest fucking character just in this part of the timeline outside of, you know, Luke and Han. But, I mean, he is probably number 3 for me at this point in the Star Wars timeline. I mean, just fucking amazing. Anyway, so, you know, he was scaled perfectly too. He wasn't too weak where it would have been kind of weird. You know, it was just really well choreographed, well written fights between the two, encounters between the two. Literally straight out of Clone Wars. Like, Embo moves, talks, walks, fights exactly how he does in Clone Wars. It's like you took him from Clone Wars and you plopped him into live action. That is how well done this character was. I was genuinely blown away. I was like, wow, they fucking nailed it. So that's that. Embo, perfect. 10 out of 10 yet again. Next, visuals. 10 out of 10. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cinematography the entire time. Some of the best looking Star Wars ever, just in general. I mean, the opening credits that literally mirrors Top Gun almost exactly is probably one of the best moments in Star Wars for me. I'm going to be so real. Where you see these X-Wings dropping down in front of this beautiful sunset, this beautiful perfect sunset, and they're twisting and spinning, and it goes, Brendan Wayne. Lateef Crowder. You know, like, that's the coolest thing. And then they go land at the base, and there's these rebels are, like, moving, and they're, like, an R2 unit rolls by, and, like, it's the most Star Wars thing ever. And then you have one of the best pieces of score for any piece of media ever. You have the Mandalorian theme, a new rendition of it, which is 30 times even better than the original one, playing in the background. I mean, this is like... I was losing my shit when I saw that, because that's within the first 30 minutes. When I saw that at the fucking preview thing, I was losing my shit. Quietly, reserved, you know, I wasn't being obnoxious, but that was the coolest. I cannot describe the level of like, I nearly cried. I'm gonna be honest with you. The first time I saw that, like, dude, that showed that just told me everything about, you know, how when you don't fucking squeeze Jon Favreau into, you know, a box, this man is the next. He's fucking goated. He's so good. He's so good. Yeah, obviously, writing isn't as big of a strong suit, but in terms of directing, it's not even close. Like, Dave's a great writer, but John is the way better director. Like, it's not even close. Like, this guy, it's so fucking consistent and has so much vision. Anyways, so that scene, one of the best in all of Star Wars, period. That's, like, up there for me with some moments in the complete saga. I mean, I that might sound crazy, and it's not like a big crazy thing in terms of story, but just in terms of what that meant to me and what I just loved it. I don't know. Every time I see that, that's probably like one of my favorite scenes. It's probably one of my favorite scenes in that entire movie as well. And it's just X-Wings flying over the credit. But, like, I'm like, this is the coolest thing. It really is. That is Star Wars. That level of, like, anyways. That needed to be highlighted. God, what else? The score, 10 out of 10, one of the best scores of all time. Top best score of the decade so far, of the 2020s, easily. I don't think there's anything that even comes... the Batman. It's up there. I'm going to be honest with you. I forget that the Batman came out in 2022 because it's so fucking good that I don't think of it as being a 2020s movie, because it is so fucking good. Like, so ridiculously good. So I'd say it's probably around there in terms of score. It's very different. It is very, very different in terms of sound. You know, so don't go like, oh, it's like the bad. No. It's very different sounding score. But in terms of how it serves the film, and just, I've listened to that soundtrack on repeat. Even a week before the movie came out, I already knew the entire score because I thought it was that good. That's the level I'm talking. Ludwig Göransson, Mando and Grogu is. Like, dude. Shit. Crazy. So that's the score. Visuals. Blah, blah, blah. Grogu. Love him. In this movie, they brought back my love for this character. Because I'm going to be honest, you guys know, I've talked so much shit on him on here in the past, because for all of Boba Fett in fucking season 3, he just did nothing. He just sat around and fucking squealed. And this kid has the Force, and he just does nothing. He's just there. And I'm like, oh, great. So he's there just so they can fucking make money. Especially in season 3. That's really where he pissed me off. Because that's where he trained with fucking Luke. And this kid, I could not picture one use of the Force outside of when he did the fire thing that he also did in season 1. No growth. Zero growth outside of, I'm not a Jedi, I'm a Mandalorian, I'm Din Oh god, that season was terrible. Holy shit. Anyways, so yeah, season 3 kind of ruined Grogu for me. Like, I just couldn't. I was like, alright, he serves no purpose in the story anymore. This is useless. This movie saves his entire character. Because he for about, I don't know exactly how long, probably about 15 minutes of the movie, he's the main character. Mando isn't, he's unconscious, about to die, and Grogu is the fucking lead for 15 minutes. And gonna be honest with you, phenomenal. That whole sequence in the Nalhada forest with Grogu taking care of Din and picking up the cane and walking through the forest alone, encountering weird mystics, meditating amongst the nature. Is that not the most Jedi shit ever? People are like, they're so stupid. Like, honestly, they're like, there's no lightsabers in it. Okay, there's no Jedi in it. That entire sequence, that entire scene is Jedi. You just have to know. You feel it. Feel the Force around you. It binds everything together. That is the fucking Force. That is the Jedi. That whole scene was saying this kid has the entire Jedi Order living on his shoulders. He is the future. Once Luke's dead, once, his species lives for hundreds and hundreds of years. This is the guy that's gonna keep the Jedi alive. It seems ridiculous now because he's just a kid, but he's gonna be the next, Yoda. And that's what I think they may or may not have not subconsciously, but slightly inferred, because there's a shot where he picks up the cane and he's like kind of walking like this through the forest in his robe, and it looks like a bog, it looks like Dagobah. And I was like, it's one of those ones you just look and you go, I've seen that before. Yoda lives in Grogu, bro. I see it. Or even in the fight later on where Mando and Embo are having a fucking duel. There is a sword duel. It's just not with lightsabers, but they have a sword duel. And it's just as exciting and cool as a saber duel, just no lightsabers. And it was awesome. And Mando wins by using the end of his new version of his Ambin pulse rifle and just goes and like shocks him. It's sick. Anyways, but how does Grogu deal with an attacking, with what's the name of Embo's fucking dog in this shit? I forget. Anyways, Embo's dog goes and attacks him. How does he end that fight? Calming the dog down and petting it. Is that not the most Jedi thing ever? Like, y'all think they're literally, Kathleen is gone and they are saving. They literally fucking reversed season 3. Like, bro, obviously they can't do a crazier, like he can't go back to Luke, but in terms of Grogu kind of rejecting his Jedi ways and all that, totally changed. And Din being a pussy, he was the most ruthless he's ever been in this movie. The opening scene, he just takes out an entire Imperial Remnant base by himself. By himself. Not one other person with him besides Grogu. But all Grogu does in that fight, because all he really needs to do is he fucking takes out the mouse droids. And then the rest of the time he's just with Din. But, bro, this man is the most overpowered fucking Mandalorian outside of Boba Fett. I mean, this guy is a beast. Holy crap. He wipes the floor clean. And then he does it again in a bar where they try to start a bar fight with him. And he just... This guy has an entire hut fall on him. He has Beskar, so that's why he didn't die. You know, unbreakable steel. But that would still hurt and probably hurt your head. He gets the fuck back up and beats the hut in hand-to-hand combat. And then later on, he has an entire fucking battalion of droids shooting at him. And he holds them off for like 5 minutes straight before the New Republic sends the X-Wings. What the fuck? Like, this guy's crazy. He's overpowered. But he gets hurt a ton. And he gets back up. That's what I love about him, is he never gives up. He gets hurt. He almost dies. He gets poisoned. He gets shot. He gets blown up, kicked, fallen on, stomped. And every single time, he gets back up and fucking wins. That is the epitome of what it means to be a Mandalorian, is to be a strong warrior who never gives up. That is the way. This is the way. That is the way of the Mandalore. And he does not quit. So yeah, absolutely loved Din this entire movie. And he's a much more upbeat person too. Yes, he's ruthless to the bad guys, but he's not cruel. You know, he's never gonna just shoot at someone anymore if they haven't shot at him first, or draw on them if they haven't drawn on him first. You know, he's gained a lot more of a moral compass since, let's say, season 1, right? Where he just fucking threw the fledgling Mythrol in the carbon chamber and just froze him. For, like, just looking at guns. He's just like, nope, carbon freeze. You know, he's not like that anymore. And that's character progression, and it makes sense. And he's not a pussy. He's just a masculine father figure now, instead of a masculine, ruthless, cold Rambo. You know, if that makes sense. So it's not like he just became this fucking lame ass bitch. Like, he does what he gets the job done. He's not like some stupid Jedi who goes, oh, you're the most evil, insidious, evil, disgusting, vile human that I have no connection to. And I'm gonna just let you run away. Like Obi-Wan and fucking Reva. He just lets her run away when she tried to kill Luke Skywalker. Like, bro. Brother. Bro. Nah. No. I know that's not very Obi-Wan of him to have to kill her, but why would you do that? She's supposed to die from Vader in the 5th episode of that show, by the way. Anyways, I don't want to pollute my excitement with that show. Moving on. So, yeah, you know, he's great. He's well progressed. He's cool. He really has taken upon the role of a father now. You know, he kind of did-ish at the end of season 3, but barely. But now, he's no longer just a protector or a guardian. He's a father. And he really cares and loves Grogu as a son. He kind of did in the past, but now it's very clear. Like, Grogu is his son, and they have that relationship, and it's evident. So, anyways. Grogu, Din, blah, 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 blah. The droid gotcha I think is what it's called. These, I'm not, you know what? I'm not going to talk about the critics or the fake fans or the I'm too scared to give my real opinion people online. I'm not even talking about that because I will. No, I'll be too mad. So, anyways, the droid gotcha is the coolest fucking faction of droids that has ever existed in Star Wars. These guys are basically, I didn't know this until a while ago, but they existed in lore prior to this film. And they're basically a group of droids activists, like droid rights activists, but not in a corny way. They're like the Black Panther or what would be another group that's kind of like that? I don't know. Like really kind of like the Mandalorians in a way, where they basically they protect their kind basically, and they're like, we're not going to sit here and be peaceful about it. You know, if you attack some of our kind, we're going to fight back. And that's basically how they started, right? And then slowly over time they became corrupted into being just working for whoever, for a higher sum of money or whatever. But these guys are really interesting, and I want to see more of them later on in Star Wars, because I have so many questions. And that's what I love about The Mandalorian, is it always does this. It introduces these characters or places or whatever that they don't go super far into, that are just kind of there in the background, that they keep mysterious for a long time. So it keeps you guessing and theorizing. That's what George did too. You know, with especially the prequels, there's so many like loopholes that were loopholes for ages and until they started writing more novels and all sorts of things like that. But the droid gotcha is so sick. It's like droid mafia. It's like the droid mafia, basically. And they were hired to protect the twins, pretty much. Who are the same Hutts we saw in the Book of Boba Fett, except they've clearly moved up in power. And that introduces a new thing. What's going on with the Hutts? What's going on with the underworld? Because in George's sequel trilogy, there's a power vacuum after the fall of the Empire. And the Imperial Remnant and the Hutts and all these crime syndicates, they're trying to regain it. No, not the Imperial Remnant. They're actually, technically, they're outside of it. But all these crime syndicates, they see that the New Republic's brand new, it's building, they're focusing on rebuilding and doing all this and that, and the Imperial Remnant, the Empire was just destroyed, brought to nothing, so they're barely even a threat anymore. So now they're like all fighting within each other to get to the top and slip past the New Republic's view. That's how George wanted his sequels to be. That was the start of his sequel trilogy. That was the state of the galaxy, is where we are right now in this movie. Like, bro, you know, like this is lit. Like the Imperial Remnant, like you see the passion in the like almost cultish like devotion to Imperial ideals through those two officers, the main one and then the guy in the AT-AT with the helmet. You see this like different level of like passion and like just obsession. You know, like the first one, he says long live the Empire like 8,000 times. Like, these are fanatics. This is no longer like, oh, I'm doing my duty. This is, no, the Empire needs to win. Blah, blah. And that's exactly how George wanted them to be in the sequels. They were fanatical Imperial cultists that would not give up their power. You know, that they never left. They're like just holding on to anything they can because they believe so strongly in the Empire's ideals and values. There you go. Done. It's there. Right? People, and I think I am going to kind of touch upon this, because I think people are too straightforward thinking about movies, about everything in general. People don't really think outside the box or read between the lines or like take a step back and go, what? And like looking back at some, people don't do that. They just have this one point of view, this one opinion, and then that's their opinion and their point of view forever. And they just move on to the next thing. And it's like, sure, on a surface level, it just looks like Empire, Hut, Grogu being cute, Mando, done. But it's like, if you pause and you know Star Wars, you know what's going on, you know all the things, right? You can see, if you take time and you think about it, you can see that there's a lot going on in the subtext. That the galaxy in this movie is not the same galaxy as Mando Season 1. There's been a shift. And the twins were the primary two Hutts in the entire Hutt family. And they were just killed. Their entire base destroyed. The droid Gatra probably also very, very impacted along with it. If, you know, I hope they're not all destroyed and wiped out that quick. But, you know, very wrecked. That's a big hole. Again, yet another power vacuum in the galaxy. Who's going to rise to take their place? Right? Who are the Hutts? Are the Hutts going to send someone, or is there going to be another criminal faction that's going to try to overcome their position of power? Right? So that's huge. And then in the New Republic, like, they didn't plan on doing this. This was not like, oh my God, this movie's so good. People don't understand. They just don't get it. This feels like episode 1. This feels like episode 1. There's so much subtext to what's going on and so much just at stake. And people just don't get it because they don't know the state of the galaxy. They don't know Star Wars very well. And they're just like, oh, it's just nothing. It's like, no. The reason why the First Order rose, or maybe if they change it, Thrawn rises to power, whatever, is because the New Republic is so ignorant, so just like the Republic that came before them, so obsessed with idealism and this and that, and we're going to de-arm and blah, 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 that they run through things and they just create more problems. Their ignorance causes the rise of the First Order, causes the rise of this and that, causes them to not be able to defend themselves against the First Order. Their ignorant idealism, right? Because what happens? The First Order get all this power. The New Republic says they're not a threat, they're nothing. To the point where there has to be a rebellion within the New Republic called the Resistance to secretly rearm while the New Republic refuses to arm. And what happens? The New Republic gets literally wiped out in how long would that even be? 10 seconds? 15 seconds? The entire New Republic's gone. The whole thing is gone. And guess who won? The Resistance. Why? Or, well, not who won, but guess who stayed alive in that fight? The Resistance. Guess who made an impact? The Resistance. Why? Because they knew, Leia knew, this isn't going to work. There's something going on. There's something off. They wouldn't just stop fighting. You know? Imperials don't quit like that. So she knew that, and that's why she built the resistance up, because she's like, we need some defense. Whether, so-and-so wants it or not. Mon Mothma. Fuck Mon Mothma. I fucking hate Mon Mothma. I can't with... Oh, god damn. She's so stupid. She's such, like, a fucking bullshit idealist. She just sits back, talks, and does nothing. She just talks, and then she's just a politician. Like, it's just... Jesus Christ. Anyways, there's a lot going on in this film, like I said. And I think you should look into it. And there's still going to be more. There's going to be more that I'm going to have to look into. What the fuck is going on? They slip a line of dialogue in there. Colonel Ward, love that character, by the way. Sigourney Weaver kills it. Fucking Colonel Ward slips a line in there saying, the Hutts were informing the Imperial Remnant of things that we were saying to them. Why the fuck are the Hutts and the Imperial Remnant still working together? They don't care. The Hutts don't care about Imperial values. All they care about is their selves. They don't even care about their group. They just care about their gluttonous fat asses. So, what is going on? What are the Hutts giving to them? These are questions. These are things. The Star Wars universe is moving. You just have to look for it, and you'll find it. It's just not thrown in your face. It's on hard mode, not easy mode. So when you look for it, and you look beyond A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you looked at every Star Wars movie that way, do you know how lame Star Wars would be? You gotta look at, what's that ship doing? What are those two troopers talking about? What the hell is that alien? Oh, look! This alien has an entire 56-issue comic book run. Then you go back. That's one of the coolest characters in this franchise. Jango Fett. This guy's so cool. Head gets cut off. Shit. You go back. He has a video game. Run of comics. Blah, blah, blah. Then you go back. Right? Like, that's Star Wars. So, what happened in this movie might not mean a lot to you right now. It means a lot to me because I see ahead. I see what they're doing. And I know partially what they're doing. So this does actually lead into Ahsoka Season 2. This is even the more I process it, the more I like this movie a lot. So like, I don't even know where I was going with that, but what was I saying? I don't even know. Like, yeah, like you look at the Droid Gotcha, you look at the Hutts, you look at the Imperial Remnant, you look at fucking Din and Grogu, like, where are they gonna go? Are they gonna officially join? Look at Rada. I haven't talked about Rada yet. Dude, I absolutely love Rada. I love him just as much, if not more. Now, with seeing him grow, seeing him choose a different path outside of being a greedy, grimy, nasty gangster like his father. And him having to basically build his own legacy and leave his entire family behind because he knows of the heinous crimes that they've committed. And he wants to be better. He wants to be different. He wants to be, a good person. He wants to inspire people. That's why, when he got this job of being a gladiator, he brought joy to people. He made people excited. And that's why it made him feel like a hero. It made him feel like he brought some good. He gave some good to people. He gave something back for the harm that, his father and his family have caused throughout the galaxy for literally like generations and decades. Millennia. Going back to the Old Republic, the Hutts have caused they've been in the just criminal underworld since the New Republic, and it probably even before, like, really their species has just been kind of terrible. And he's like, no, I ain't like that. And he chose his own path. So that's that. His character development in this movie is... That is how you bring a character back we haven't seen in a million years and you do him right. That is how you do him right. This is not like, oh, we're going to make him this sad, depressed, lousy piece of shit. They didn't make Rada some, Mando, save me. This guy is a buff gladiator with axes. This guy's doing well, you know, and you saw how he progressed. They could make a fucking Rada mini-series and I'd watch it. Like, that is how much I like this character. I love Rada the Hutt a lot. That's one of my favorite Disney Star Wars characters that Disney's made. Rada the Hutt. And get it, yet again, who made it? Jon fucking Favreau. Who made Grogu? Jon Favreau. Who made Din Djarin? Jon Favreau. This guy literally saved Star Wars, and he fucking owns Disney right now. He made them all their money. He is the reason for that green thing. So they better let him do whatever he wants, because he did that. They didn't. He came up with that idea. They did not. So anyways, love Rada. His voice was funny. He had this like normal, like kind of New York-ish accent. It was just Jeremy Allen White just talking. And it actually kind of worked because it made him seem more youthful, right? Because he's young. He's like, you know, if he was a baby in the Clone Wars movie, he's not this super old guy. He's probably only, in his 30s? Ish? Yeah, like he's not this super old guy or anything. In fact, him and Din are actually probably kind of close in age. Din's older for sure, I think. Yeah, but you know, Rada's still on the young, especially actually he is extraordinarily young for his species, actually. So, and now he wants to work with the New Republic. Like, things are moving forward. Like, I just don't know how people don't see any of the things I'm seeing. Like, I know this is how, most of the time, this is how it is for me. Like, and I'm not saying that to be a dick or anything. I'm just saying my experience. I see things like this, and I pick up on things way earlier than most people. Like, I just see patterns, and I see the future, and not in that way, but, you know, I see, like, potential paths of where things are going, and I narrow it down, like, logistically of which direction I think, you know, like, I just see it. I see what they're doing, and I love it. Okay, I love this new direction away from the sequel trilogy. We're moving towards new stories, and, you know, like, Dave's killing it as CEO right now. He's kicking ass, and it hasn't even been a full year of him in control yet. And he's already just shifting the tables around, and it's coming across in how much money they're making, in viewership, in sales and merchandise, visits to parks. If you saw the amount of people who went to see Darth Vader come out at Galaxy's Edge, insane. If you saw the amount of people waiting in line to go on Smuggler's Run for the new Mando and Grogu mission, unbelievable. Like, this is what happens when you do things the right way. When you hire people who know Star Wars, who are fans, and know what fans want. Because if you are a fan and you're in the fan community, you will know what fans ultimately want. You know, and when you have filmmakers with generational talent who respect George, who love George, who want to do anything to follow his vision, you know, but also bring their own creative, you know, thinking to it, that's also great, and that also works, right? Jon Favreau has his own, like, lens filter, that he has his own point of view. You know, his version of Star Wars is very action-packed, it's like a roller coaster. He recently said in an interview that it's like when you watch a Star Wars movie, he wants it to be like you're going on Space Mountain. And it's like just this whirlwind of excitement and emotion and this and that. And I couldn't agree more. I think that that's an amazing description for Star Wars, especially for what he likes to do. And I love all Jon Favreau pieces of Star Wars. True Jon Favreau, without studio interference Jon Favreau pieces of Star Wars. He's such a talented guy. He made, one of my favorite movies ever, which is Iron Man. He literally, fucking changed the world with that movie. And then he made Chef, which was one of my late grandma's favorite shows, and she loved him too. So, I have, a family connection. So I'd love to meet him one day. That's another person I'd want to meet for sure. He's just to say thank you, I love you, bro. Because, genuinely, he's so good. And I've said that from the start. I'm like, John is such just generational talent. You don't get that level of, just atomic precision, that he has. This laser eye of cinema that guy has. It is not common. At all. He has so much aura that he actually does, fight back. He tries to fight back against when, the studios try to interfere with him. He does try to do what he can do about it. He doesn't just sit there and listen, for Mando Season 3 and Book of Boba, he was really upset that with the way that Kathy tried to change the story, and he almost threatened to leave Star Wars entirely because he was so mad about that. And he didn't want to do that version of Mando at all. And Kathy said, well, you have to because of blah, 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 blah. And they forced him to put it out. And then all the bots and the people who can't critically think just gave him a bad name and a bad image. But, they're really just not smart. Same people who watch this movie and say it's slop or there's no feelings or no emotions. You're a fucking idiot. Okay, you don't have to like something. I totally could see someone not liking this movie, especially if you're more into indies or stuff like that. I could see that and I understand, and that's fine. But to just outright call this movie with this level of just direction and creativity slop is crazy. That is such a stretch. That's when I heard people saying that, I was like, what happened? Did she do it again? Nope. It's just the same people who called episode 1 slop, the same people who fucking went after George back in the day. It's what they're doing to John right now. The same people who went after Dave for Clone Wars, they're doing it again. This is just the same group of obnoxious, fat, LARPing, mouth-breathing, experienceless, letterboxed film bros online who have never even attempted to make a movie in their entire lives, going online, talking all this shit, and then they go back at home and they fucking beat their meat. It's these are the same pieces of shit. It's the baboons, it's the political people who will just say they don't like a movie because of the company it comes from. I mean, it's the same fucking people as it is every other time. Audience score, 89%. Critic score, 61? Look at the difference between your everyday people with their own thoughts, own points of view, versus the bought out fake news media companies who hire fake news people to do fake news things. Again, it's the exact same shit, History does repeat itself over and over and over again, and I love Mando and Grogu. Genuinely, I love this movie. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's really well done. Is it a 10 out of 10? No. I'd give it a 9 out of 10 because I think that they could have dived further into some of the things I talked about, and maybe spent a little more time, you know, I guess developing the world more. Because my issue isn't character development, because this has been an adventure film since day one, and there is character development. Again, if you actually... I just don't understand how you don't fucking see Grogu turn in... Like, how do you not see... Like, you have a degree in fucking film and media studies. How do you not see Grogu change? Like, it just proves to me that these people are bought out. Like, they're paid off by one of the other big studios to talk shit so that one of the other big studios gets more ratings and Disney drops their rate. Like, it's just politics. Like, the last scene of the film with Mando and Grogu in the cockpit, he says, "It's your turn, Grogu." He picks him up, and Grogu's the one that launches him into hyperspace. That right there is symbolic of the entire change that's happened in this movie. Grogu can fend for himself. He has not fended for himself in anything before this film. He has constantly required assistance. Not anymore. Now Grogu could survive on his own. He always has more to learn. He's not Rey. He's not like this overpowered perfect person. You know, he's still a kid. He's still that little Grogu we know, you know, just running around trying to eat everything he sees. You know, he got almost swallowed by a fucking frog. You know, he's still Grogu. But he's grown so much. And Din has grown so much as a father. He's learned how to be a father and to be more compassionate. You know, he's grown... his heart's become a little less solid. You know, he has feelings now. You know, like... I don't know how you're so fucking illiterate to not see that. That's not a subjective thing. The characters don't change. The characters haven't done anything we haven't seen. That's not true. That's an objective thing. Just like in episode 1, when people always say, "The story makes no sense," and then I completely just prove them wrong and they're silent. It's the same shit. They go, this is what they well, now that I think of it, yeah, I guess. Yeah. But it should have been done, I think it could have been done better. How? How's the weather? It's same bullshit. It's gonna be the same thing. I'm an avid defender of this film. I can't wait to be labeled a shill by the paid off political groups online who hate every single thing that Disney puts out because it's made by Disney. Like, bro, you're fucking not a fan. You're fucking paid off by the government or by political groups to fucking talk shit on literally every single thing that comes out of Disney. That's like literally what their whole life is. They go on YouTube, spread hatred that's illogical and not factual, and then they come back and they do the same thing the next day. You know, it's like they're not real. Whole life is gained off of fucking hate mongering. It's great. I talk shit when I need to talk shit, and I give praise when I need to give praise, and you guys know that. The Acolyte, worst show I've ever seen. Mando and Grogu, one of the best movies in recent years that I've seen in terms of the past. And, like, I don't know, past couple years. It's up there. It's very memorable for me. I love it. And you could feel the excitement in the theater, you know, from the kids, you know, like they were like reacting to everything going on, and they were so like just hooked to the screen and like just loving it, you know. And I was like, that's what Star Wars should be doing. You shouldn't have kids picking at their nails, you know. It's Star Wars. This ain't like some, you know, Oscar bait drama film. This is Star Wars. The kids should be learning life lessons from these movies. They should be loving these movies. They should be having fun watching these movies. And I saw that. Sure, the old people or the parents, the boomers, the exact same people who didn't like the prequels don't like this movie. Why? Because it's not enough like the original trilogy. It's not A New Hope 2.5. It's not The Force Awakens, so I don't like it. And the thing is this movie's more original trilogy than fucking anything. Sure, Rogue One, that literally practically is just the original trilogy, right? Like, what the fuck? Outside of Rogue One, this is the most original trilogy feeling project that they've done. Like, what the fuck are we on? It's just the same illogical idiots who go online and they don't know what they're talking about. They haven't really given the movie any thought outside of I don't vibe with it. Sure, you don't have to vibe with it, right? Everyone has certain vibes they like, certain vibes they don't. Just don't say things that are factually incorrect. Because I'm sorry, it's not an argument whether Grogu or Din's character grow. It's not an argument. It's not. It's a fact. They do. They fucking do. It's not an argument that the world of Star Wars changes. It does. Sure, it might not be as in-depth or whatever as I want it to be, but it does change. You know? It's like, I don't... You know? And it had all the funny, weird creatures and humor of George's Star Wars that no other piece of Star Wars that Disney's ever made has captured again. They captured the spirit of, you know, of just the moments that the critics hated in the prequels, like Jar Jar being an idiot, right? There's tons of moments with the Anzellans, like flying a ship on their own and making stupid jokes, or you know, even Rada at some times, you know, when he's just like this big, huge, fat, big thing. You know, like, that's the same people who hated the Ewoks and hated Jar Jar. They're going to hate Rada and they're going to hate the Anzellans. And to be honest, I was like, oh god, Anzellans, because it just reminds me of The Rise of Skywalker. Not anymore. Now it reminds me of Mando and Grogu. I'm going to go, oh, those are the guys from Mando and Grogu. But, yeah, like, before then I was like, oh. And then you see them in this movie, and I was like, I love these guys. These are the fucking Ewoks just shrunk down to only 4. But, like, that's the vibe they give off to me. Is totally, like Ewok. That's just kind of how they are. But, yeah, dude. Fucking love this movie. 9 out of 10. Phenomenal. Fucking mind-blowing. Well done. Yeah. If you love adventure movies, like Star Wars, like Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, etc., you're gonna love this one. If you love the Mandalorian show, you're gonna love this one. If you are a George Lucas Star Wars fan who understands his vision for Star Wars, you're gonna love this one. If you're an open-minded Star Wars fan who's okay with a Star Wars product not having a lightsaber in it, you're gonna love this one. So yeah, that's that. And sure, there might be some people in those categories who don't. That's fine. Opinions are opinions, like I always say. You can say, you know, that's not really for me. Like, there's big products or shows or movies that I just can't get into for some reason. I'm like, I just can't get into it. Sorry. You know, but I really respect for what it did. For cinema, for the brand, whatever. You know, because that's just being a good historian. That's being a good logical thinker, you know. As for anything, right? So that's just that, you know. So, yeah, I loved it, you know. I just wish, you know, maybe if there was more screen time of, like, available, that they could have gone more into, like, Droid Gotcha and Empire. I think a little more time with the Empire is really probably what I would have wanted, to be honest with you. Yeah, you know what? No, you're watching me actively change, but like, it works so well how it is though. So like, I don't know. Like, I always think, okay, if I drop a rating, what would I change and how would I change it? Maybe like they could have added some just short little things like with the Hutts like communicating with the Empire, like with maybe Pelion or something, and then the transmission goes away and Mando comes in. Something like that, just little pieces. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't even need actually no, it wouldn't need more screen time. It just like needs more, it needs some more hints. It needs to make the subtext that I completely understood, I think, a little bit more clear, and I think it would build the excitement even more. Then I think it would be a 10 out of 10. But like on a surface level, it's not in your face, which to someone who doesn't understand subtext or visual storytelling very well, you could go, it's shallow. But I think that is something that he could have just been a lot more about. So that's really the only thing I'd change, I'd say, is just highlight, show more of that. We heard most of that stuff in the dialogue, but I want to see it. I want to see it. So that's really what I'd say, is more show, don't tell kind of thing. So. But yeah. Anyways, loved it. 9 out of 10. Jon Favreau, I love you. Genuinely cinema legend, fucking hero to me. So, hopefully within the next 10 years, I'll be there working with these guys. So, I guess see you guys then. But anyways, may the Force be with you always. Leave a like, subscribe, share. See you in the next video. May the Force be with you always. Goodbye.